Hello, everyone. Welcome into episode 31 of the Fuzed Relativity podcast. Chris here, and to start things off. Sorry, I usually ask Kirk how he's doing, but I wanted to start off with John because we were going to throw out a little bit of a happy birthday because he's got a birthday coming up on Monday. So, John, happy birthday!
Very sadly.
Yes, we all know how much fun I had last week, so you just had to copy me and have a birthday. Yeah, I know where you got your idea. No, but what number is it?
37.
37. It's not not a milestone by anything. It's just another day. It doesn't end in a 0 or a 5. It's hard to get excited about.
I'm a little now that you say that, John, I'm pissed that you didn't time up your 37th birthday with the 37th episode.
Well,
That's kind of a selfish move.
Dick move on your birthday, buddy. And by the way, we were thinking about we're gonna roast you, John, but we thought that was just way too much, so we just start with you. We would tan you, so because it would just be too much of a leap. So we're not gonna hear John, the other really white meat. You're not gonna hear that joke. We're not roasting. There's skin cancer looks at John and thinks, nah, too easy. I need more of a challenge. You're not going to hear. That's mean. And you got roast the other guy too. So I'm not going to say about Chris. Chris is known as the Greeley guy, not because he ever lived in Greeley, but because he smells like 50,000 cow farts. You're not going to, Pepe Le Pew didn't even hit on him. That's how bad Chris smells. Febreze bottles run out of the room. Okay, you're not going to hear that though, because we're not roasting. Like, I wrote mean things and I had to say a couple of them. Okay. So happy birthday, John.
Well, thank you.
Body double, how are you doing tonight other than, roasting?
It's body double. It's episode 31. It's going to be, there's a lot of stunts planned. It's going to be the most physical. So I had to bring in someone this is not Kirk. This is Kirk's body double. Because, the physicality of this podcast episode. I don't know if Kirk could cut it, so I had to step in. We sound exactly alike, though. We're a voice double as well, which is just a weird coincidence. So we're lucky that way. Not to confuse you guys.
Hopefully you're not looks doubles. All right.
No.
Take that, Kirk.
All right, Mr. Where'd that come from? I was nothing but nice. Oh, wait, no, I wasn't.
I'm reading straight from space.com, but one infamous 1859 geomagnetic storm known as the Carrington event disrupted Earth's magnetic field so severely that telegraph wires burst into flames.
What year is that?
1859.
Oh, wow, okay.
So it has the potential to knock out power grids, Kirk. I can't tell you why, but I know it's got potential to do that.
Well, I mean, if it can set telegram poles on fire, or wires on fire, yeah.
Well, yeah, and the power grid goes out, like that's, I think 3 days if people don't have Wi-Fi and they can't order stuff from Amazon, I think it would be close to anarchy in the street if people would go outside again.
Well, and just power in general. That's probably the bigger thing is if there was no power, we're too accustomed to having power.
Yeah, I mean, just refrigeration. I mean, food, and I mean, it's something simple as in summertime or just hot. AC. You know what I mean? Like I grew up in Arizona, so just that there's months there where if your AC died and you were elderly and no one checked on you, it wasn't common for you to die that way.
The other thing is, how would people be able to? We wouldn't be able to give the people the Fuzed Relativity podcast, and chaos would ensue in the streets.
They would just be so distraught. Yeah, well, that would really, the nation would mourn. They would, like, you remember when JFK was shot, where you were, and where you were when the first Fuzed Relativity podcast was missed. Same level.
Okay.
You guys are on the podcast. You can't even go, maybe? Come on, guys.
Don't think I was alive for JFK, though.
All I can think of, Kirk, is the song, like the taps playing in my head right now, or whatever. The burn, burn, burn.
Yeah. And then the rifles. 20 gun salute.
Yep.
The length of a day on Mercury is 58 days, 15 hours, and 30 minutes. So you could get a lot of mining done if you landed on, the dark side and drilled for almost 2 months before you had to take...
You'd have 2 months of drilling in the shade.
Before you had to take off and head back towards Earth.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then let's call Bruce Willis. Let's get it done.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, is all these planets have the potential of having a ton of just rare elements, because the theory is a lot of the rare elements that are on Earth came from space. And it, more importantly, came from the fusion of the sun. And what better way to pick up, a ton of particles over the years as being the closest planet to the sun. I don't know if that made any sense.
I was still stuck on Bruce Willis, because hear me out, because he was in Die Hard, right? So Die Hard. Here's how hard he died. Even when he died, he came back as a ghost in that Sixth Sense movie. So even when he was dead, he was still there. And then you were talking about, so that's what I got distracted.
Glad I could throw that one out there just to derail the podcast. So, John, Mercury, we'll have to do a little more digging into that, because in a future episode, I learned a lot about Jupiter today, and I'd like to talk about it, but it's just not on the docket today. So later, but right now, let's talk about Jeff Bezos being a dick. What do you think?
Well,
it's a recurring segment.
Especially considering the report that came out from his Blue Origin employees.
Exactly. So, Kirk, this'll tickle your funny bone. There was a report, an essay that came out from former employees of Blue Origin who said that Jeff Bezos was a dick.
Didn't maintain safety hazard or standards, the same quality of working conditions that Amazon has. He transferred to Blue Origin.
Yeah, duh. Can I say duh? I mean, because they talk about. I've heard people talk about white privilege. You think that's bad? How about massive billionaire privilege? I can't imagine you can. Who's going to tell that guy anything where he's going to listen?
Well,
he's just not.
That's the funny part, because
he's a big bald baby who's a dick.
Correct me. Core of engineers are worried that the rocket that they're sending, you up on, could potentially explode. Probably a good idea not to get on it.
Yeah, listen to your engineers. I bet they know.
Which doesn't bode well, because William Shatner apparently signed up to go on the next flight for Blue Origin. So,
which is a shame, because if he waits like a half a year, SpaceX is going to be doing 1,000-person trips with Starship in actual suborbital stuff.
But can you imagine if they blow up Captain Kirk? Do you imagine how much nerd rage is going to be at that company? Imagine. They killed our captain. Get him, guys! Come on.
And that's the thing is, I mean, personally, I don't think Blue Origin is in it for the run. I mean, if you look at comparisons, SpaceX has almost tested Starship as much as they've tested New Glenn. And they don't even, that's just their suborbital hopper. They haven't even started building the bigger one that's actually supposed to take people to space.
You said Elon is going to Mars, and it seems like Bezos was more, like you said, space tourism. Was that, I mean... At
this point, that's all they're going to get out of that stupid rocket.
Just because they can't go much further. They can, pop out of the atmosphere or whatever was it Miranda line? Is that right?
Carmen line.
Darn. Yeah. Carmen. Not the Miranda rates. Carmen Miranda.
You have the right to remain silent, Kirk.
I was going to say, I think
you have the right to remain silent and have fruit on your head while you dance. And no, okay. I was combining way too many.
Man, got it. Armed to catch starships, and it's going to be called Mechazilla.
Yeah.
So,
So that was a concept. So, and I can run you through this real quick. At first, they were just going to land it on land, the booster on land. And then they're like, yeah, but then we need legs and all this other stuff. So they're like, well, what if we jokingly just caught the booster when it was trying to land back at the thing? And then they're like, yeah, nope, we're doing that. So now they're
my only beef is a bunch of science nerds, and they're not going to be able to program it how to catch. It's gonna botch the catch. It's gonna boot it, and it's gonna crush the rocket by accident.
That's the thing, though. Is
or counterpoint, Mothra will show up and wreck the whole thing.
Or the arm it doesn't want to catch rockets, it just wants to arm wrestle, and then it becomes a Sylvester Stallone movie over the top.
Yes.
Sorry, John, you were saying something
I'm just
important.
saying.
Body double. What do you got for a off topic this week?
My off topic. I read a story about a 50-year-old construction worker in Turkey, and he woke up after a night of drinking, and people came to his house and they go, "Hey, we're joining a search party," and he's like, "All right, I'll join the search party." And then he heard people shout out the name, and it was his name. So this guy got drunk, wandered back to his place. His friends thought they didn't know he made it back to his house. They thought he was lost. So this guy was in a search party for himself, which seems like another existential crisis.
Yeah, got to find yourself. Yeah.
Right. He was just wandering through he was wearing tie-dye. He was taking some hallucinogens. He was reading some poetry. He was trying.
Really makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah, but just drunk guy. And how about the props of he was drinking late, but still hungover, decided, yeah, I'll be in a search party. It didn't matter. It ended up being for himself. He was trying to help.
Hey, good news is they found the guy. I mean,
he was unhurt. Like a big celebration, and then it happened all again the next day. It was a vicious cycle.
First time, it's a happy ending. Third time, it's AA.
Yeah. All right. Now we need an intervention. No more celebration parties when we find Bob. He loses himself every time. Look, the cake budget is killing us, people.
Good story. I like that one. Well, look at that, guys. We made it through episode 31. John, once again, happy birthday.
Thank you.
No, it's not for a couple days, but I don't know. Did you check your email?
I did see it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and thank you very much.
You are welcome. Glad me and Kirk could hook you up. You are a big part of this podcast. Mostly the reason we have a podcast. So, yeah, small token.
Thank you.
Every beer he drinks becomes a pale ale. Okay. All right. I found one more.
All right. That was a good one.
You like that one? All right.
That was a really good one.